looking at.
Mullah,
You
you close the account, that's the end of the matter, Mullah.
You get the money, close the account, but
That's it, and then you spend it the way you want. Well, this is not a scheme for, well, I can understand. Well, quite frankly, I can understand the corporate sector being told that we impose a cess like education cess. You impose a cess on the corporate functioning of companies. With that cess, you have capital, and capital you distribute in accordance with the representation in the Lok Sabha. So everybody has the same amount, and the same money can be used for that. What you are doing now is entirely different. You are saying you give me as much money as you want to give me. That Aziz argued, Mullah, that
your submission is this is not money for electoral participation, but money for
enriching the
political party.
Yeah,
individual party.
It's just enriching the party.
There are no spending requirements. There's no auditing requirement as to how the money
accountability.
Utilized, nothing.
No accountability. Absolutely no accountability.
What's the next point?
The last point, but the fifth point, is that in fact it protects the nature of the scheme protects those who have committed a crime. I'll give you an example. Under the Prevention of Corruption Act, Section 7 of the Prevention of Corruption Act, you give money to a public servant. Members of Parliament are public servants. Many members of the political party who are in the fray are public servants. Now, as your Lordship knows, under Section 7, you can also prosecute a person in anticipation of a favor. Not just having granted a favor. So you give a donation, no questions asked. You get a favor. You cannot correlate one with the other. And I can't prosecute you. This is a scheme to protect criminals from being prosecuted. You'll never know who bribed whom, how much was the bribe for, what quid pro was there. You'll never get to know. That there is quid pro quo, Mullahs, is in my first submission. That capital and influence go together. Mullahs, nobody can doubt that proposition, Mullahs. So in effect, through this scheme, you are trying to protect those people. Where the source of the money is, my learned friend has argued. I don't want to repeat anything that he has said. And let's see what is the scheme. If it's less than 2,000 rupees, it's cash. If it's more than 20,000 rupees, the name of the donor has to be given. And if it is electoral bonds, nothing. That's the 3 layers of the scheme. So while the donor's name will be given if it's more than 20,000 rupees, right? And so ordinary, ultimately, let's put it this way. This constitution is for the citizens of this country to participate in the election. The corporate sector is not a voter. The citizen is the voter. The citizen is entitled to contribute. If he gives more than 20,000 rupees, his name will be there. But the corporate sector, who is not a citizen, can donate 10 crores, 100 crores. His name will not be there. What's the rationale for that? I, as a citizen's name, it will have to be disclosed. So, is the corporate sector being granted a privilege over a citizen of this country? That privilege of anonymity? How is he more privileged than a citizen who is at the heart of the Constitution of India? How is he being given a preferential treatment? Why? Because you want to enrich yourself through this scheme and enrich yourself because you're in power. Whereas the opposition may be in power in a state. They will also enrich themselves. This is not political. Because all business will actually be attracted towards this scheme because this is one way of getting access. I just pardon me, Maharaj, for saying so from personal experience. If people donate, Maharaj, we know who is donated. He will give me a call and say, sir, I want to come over. I will hear him. But if I don't know his name who is donated, Maharaj, I won't listen. I mean, how many calls will I answer? So you get access, straight away you get access. And all this anonymity that we're talking about is really not anonymous. Because the person who donates will go and tell him orally that I gave you such and such money. This is the amount I gave you, 100 crores. Only he will know that he gave.
The anonymity would exist only if it was truly fungible.
That's right.
In which case, if it's truly fungible, like a demat account, in which
That's
case, you give it to, say, the election
Then it's
commission,
anonymity.
and then it is, then it becomes anonymous.
That's right. Now it is not. In fact, it is not anonymous if you ask me. That's my summation. Because I have given 100 crores, I know that I bought a bond. My learned friend, Mr. Mr. Shant Bhushan said, no, he'd give it to a third person, doesn't matter. But who is interested in that bond? The person who I bought the bond. So I will go and tell whoever I want to tell that I gave you. So he doesn't have to go to the State Bank of India. Let's talk practical politics. He doesn't have to go to the State Bank of India to find out. Nor does the State Bank of India have to disclose it. The person who gave it will disclose it. Because he knows why he gave it. So what is anonymous about this? This is protecting the rich.
There is another thing. Answer. Suppose A purchases the bond.
Yes.
A purchases bonds worth X amount, 100 crores.
Yes.
A is only the person who's been put up to purchase the bond because A has a KYC, etc.
Yes.
A has to only physically hand over the bond to B.
Yes.
Right? Or B gives it to C, who will in turn give it to a political party.
Correct.
Now, there is no control over the transaction between A and B.
Yes.
So B can trade on that bond for cash or for whatever other consideration.
Yes.
B acquires that bond.
Yes.
B hands it over to a political party.
Yes.
Or B gives it to C and C hands it over to a political party.
Yes.
The person who is satisfied the requirement of the transaction being through the normal banking channels is A, the purchaser, the ostensible purchaser of the bond.
Correct.
But this does not obviate the fact that the people who are really
behind it,
yes, that they have used authorized banking channels.
Yes.
All that they have to do is that
get somebody's KYC.
It says trading is prohibited.
Yeah.
But there is no way you can prohibit trading in the bond.
Absolutely.
B doesn't have to buy the bond from A through official banking channels because there is no record of any transactions in the bond. It just goes from hand to hand.
That's right.
Because of the curtain, then you cannot be any questions with regard to quid pro quo.
That's right. And then, ultimately, the person who is actually invested in it is the person who will tell the political party. Who's the holder ultimately?
No. In this case, probably they'll know who's the purchaser.
Could be B or C.
They'll know the purchaser, but the actual purchaser is A.
Exactly.
Whereas in the KYC, etc., A is the one who's.
That's right. Absolutely right. So, Maharaj, it perpetuates.
Also, B may be an aggregator of the bonds.
That also.
By having 10 different people subscribe to 100 different people subscribe to bonds worth 1 crore each.
That's right. Well, there at least the Indian human mind is ingenious in these matters.